So answer the question regarding legislation. So the legal and political context for the countries that are here represented are so different. You have Indonesia with both. Indonesia has an FOI law, Nepal has, Philippines no, Hong Kong no, open data policy. There's a certain degree of open data policy. There's no open data policy in Indonesia, none in Nepal. In the Philippines, a little bit, yes, because it's enshrined in the General Operations Act of 2015. And in Hong Kong, their context is some kind of. So there are differences in how the legislations are actually being formatted and implemented, as well as there are differences also on how these legislations are actually monitored at the level in these governments. Okay, so as to the question of use, for FOI in both Nepal, so Nepal and Indonesia, the kind of requests for information are actually coming from civil society groups. Users are mainly from interested groups, CSOs, and not necessarily citizens. They still have to go into that direction. And in the case of Nepal, much of the data that were requested are actually entitlement-related information, like how many scholarships are there, how can people actually take advantage of this, and where can they get it, and what's the process, and who are given actually. And in the case also of Indonesia, the kinds of information that are requested by CSOs are related essentially to budgets, political financing, environmental impact assessments, and several things that are related about money. Yeah, certain public services. Okay. And we skipped the measurements part because we didn't have time. So we actually prioritize the questions, and we find question 4 to be more interesting. And as to the groups that the discussion actually, there are differences in context. So in the Philippines, for example, when there's no FOI law, the FOI advocates are actually telling the open data community, you're hijacking the FOI agenda. Because like governments are actually saying,
familiar to I think.
So governments are actually saying, so there is already open data, there's a portal and so on, so you can get information from there. But of course, that's not complete. Out of the total 200 agencies, you only have like only 6 agencies that are actually disclosing data in the portal and in open formats. So in Indonesia, they're actually, both communities are actually moving in different directions. One is doing the transparency track, and the other is more about public service delivery, efficiency, etc., etc. And then they're saying that there's a big opportunity for them to be able to do collaboration. And one of the suggested methods was to sit down together, both communities, define priorities and interests, and look for nodes where those priorities and interests actually intersect, and work from there. So that hasn't happened yet. Probably they'll do that right after this conference. Okay, so. And,
oh, sorry.
And then there's I think what actually transpired out of, in the case of Nepal, for example, it's a different context as well. By the way, there's no open data portal in Nepal. So the open data portal is actually run by a CSO, which is composed of both FOI advocates and open data communities. So the merger of interests is actually the one that actually binds together and glues together these two different communities. And I think that's a lesson that we'll have to take with us at the end.
Okay, sorry. Okay, just one second.
Yeah, very little from me. In terms of collaborations, the two groups can get together when they can use certain momentum. For example, in the country, when the general election comes, then they work together and have good applications to get the data information and work.
Thank you. Okay.